Hello, and welcome to, this is the first ever transfer deadline day live stream. We got an hour and a half to finish out a wild, I was about to say it is February, but I was going to say a wild winter transfer window. And I figured, let's bring in someone who I'm used to talking to my show bros all the time. In fact, we're recording our SOB episode later. It's just like I need someone fresh to bounce some ideas off. And I was like, perfect. I know exactly who to hit up. Been wanting to have him on for a while. Shout out to Luke of Never in My Lifetime Pod. Welcome. How are you? How are things?
I'm very good, man. I'm happy to be finally on the channel. Been watching this channel for a good long while now. It's nice to finally be able to make my debut here and show out that city. Bring it on.
Yes. Like, oh man. Yesterday was a little rough, a little tough, and we'll definitely touch on that conversation a little bit because I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it. But first, I'm interested. Hello, Bebo.
Hello.
Appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on. Let's start here. And before we dive into everything transfer window, this has kind of become my new favorite thing to ask any of our guests. What is something that you feel is overrated about football?
Oh, that is a good question. Do you know what it is, right? I've always thought, this might seem like a really weird thing to say overrated, but people who say the term support your local club, because I get the concept, I really do. If you've got a family member who grows you up watching football, to a local team,
Yes,
then fair enough. Massive respect to you for having that, person in your life. But the people who go on about it as that's the one thing about football that you must do, and that's the only and there's these kind of golden rules of football. It doesn't exist. Like I always thought that stats are a thing as well that are ridiculously overrated as well. But the things that people go on about, that certain things that you can't support this team because you're not from there, whatever. Like at the end of the day, right? It doesn't matter what sport it is. I watch NBA, NFL, and other stuff. I'm not from America, but I watch it. I like watching it. But people need to understand that just because you're from the area doesn't mean you can't support a different team. If you like that team, that's the only team you support, then fair play to you. That's how it should be. But I don't get people who just have a go, who feel tribal and don't like people, not supporting a team because they're not from the area. I've never understood that mentality. But yeah, that's my overrated thing about football and sport in general.
Hey, obviously, as an American over here, if you can't hear my different accent, because I won't say we don't have an accent. Everybody has an accent to somebody. We got a lot of that at first, and I still find myself every now and then getting very defensive. And I've worked very hard on just letting it be. If people want to use that as a way to judge me, go for it. Honestly, I feel like once we have a nice little chat about football or how I see the game and things like that, people usually quickly, I guess, change their opinion and things like that. But especially just with City, we get enough slack from everybody else. I always just feel it's weird when other City fans go at City fans. It's like, bro, we go through enough. We should be trying to lift each other up, not take each other out.
Well, Crunk, the thing is, mate, I've also thought, there are many great American City fans. Couch's obviously coming up right now, obviously, especially for a female City fan, by the way, which on this space, as we all know, is very small.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, obviously she's not a YouTuber herself, but she goes on shows. It's difficult for even the women to get on there, let alone an American woman, which obviously is a whole, it's a massive niche in itself for a bit on this space. But the thing is, you guys over in the States, Snowy Boys, Noisy Neighbours, yourselves, doesn't matter what show or fan you are, even if you're not a podcaster or just a fan in general that's on Twitter or whatever, you're just as important as we are. Anyone to Manchester, you're a fan, you have your own opinion, and that matters. And that's what it should always be. People get way too defensive about where people are from. The other day, right, Your experience of football is completely different to mine, but it doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. I actually would like to hear what you have to say about different things. It's different opinions as part of football. That's why I look at it.
Yeah, definitely. It's I take large pride in what we do and how we go at what we do. And so yeah, it's just we just try to build and work with who we work with. And you know, we've been around for 3 years now, so there are some city podcasts here in the US that have, you know, started after us, and we tried to help them where we can. And unfortunately, some of them we've kind of gone our separate ways, but you know, tis life, ain't it?
The thing is, unfortunately, it happens over here as well. I won't name names, but people in this community don't get on. Look, I don't know why. It should be a lot more together than this. But like United, like Chelsea, like Arsenal, it's egos. People don't like what your opinion of something, and it changes their whole perspective on everything. That's what I don't like about other channels. Like, either day, right? If you don't agree with what I have to say, that's fine. But it shouldn't change. It should not change how you are. But that's just where I look at it. I think people need to stop actually get on each other rather than just get critical of what people say. It's a weird world.
Yes, facts. Well, let's keep it moving. What do you feel is overrated? We did underrated. So yeah, what do you feel is overrated? Or no, sorry, we did overrated. What is underrated?
Underrated. Oh, do you know what? Right, I'm going to say this. People will think I'm crazy. I think VAR is actually underrated because the problem we've got is right. The officials are terrible. The rules in general are not clear and keep changing every year. VAR itself as a system should work.
Yes.
And it does work.
Yes.
You get the offsides right, it shouldn't take long at all to get done. The issue we've got is the officials themselves are not good enough. And we get it everywhere. It isn't just in the UK. You probably get it over in the States as well. We just don't have a system or a collection of referees that do their jobs correctly and actually, get the calls right. That it should be a set in stone rules for each decision, penalties, that kind of stuff. Don't switch from it. If it is what it is, penalty, you stick with it. VAR's a very simple process to actually help everyone out. The problem is that it's been complicated by too much changing and too much debate. That's the issue with it.
Yeah, the constant trying to, because their thing is they've gotten themselves stuck with the phrasing and the letter of the law type of things. And now it's gotten even worse with VAR because they have changed the rules where basically whatever the ref says goes, and they have to basically find a way around if what the ref's call was, and it forces them to actually kind of look at not necessarily the play itself and if there were any rules broken, but if they were correct or if it's plain and obvious that they were wrong. And half the time, because of just bad angles and things like that, they're like, nope, it goes, it's all right, let's keep it. And that is very frustrating and kind of, honestly, just frustrating, honestly.
Yeah, it is. And it's something that people say get rid of it. If we get rid of VAR, I guarantee you we'll get decisions like the Lampard goal against Germany. Well, obviously that's different. That's more technology there, which actually works perfectly fine. But you get decisions like that or penalties that aren't penalties. That people say, where's VAR? Basically, keep it in the game, but we gotta find a system that works for referees. Because at the end of the day, right, keep the rules where they are, change it at the end of the season if things need to change, tweak. Obviously, assess it with the clubs and the fans, and let them know this is the rules going forward. It's very simple what we should be doing here, but the issue is it's lack of communication. That's the issue we got.
I gotta look up this. So a chicken balti pie.
Oh yeah, it's like chicken balti. It's like curry. Like you get, it's like a pie. They're really nice.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. I'm seeing these photos. No, this looks Great. I have plans to be in England for a week in March. So
Cool.
the plan is to eat all of the foods and definitely try to check out a Sunday league game and all of the games in the pyramid that I can. I also grew up playing rugby, second row in number 8. So definitely going to try to check out a rugby match or two while I'm up there. Definitely eating all the food and drinking all the pints.
The thing is, right, rugby and people play rugby and NFL. The problem is the ball's the exact same thing, but it's different kind. It's similar, but not the same. If you get what I mean, like it's very different. Like rugby hasn't got much protective gear at all. Yeah,
Love it.
It's different. People say it's the same thing. It's not.
Yes.
It's got similarities, but it's not quite the same. It's like these little things that change here and there. I mean, obviously over there you've got protective gear. Over here we just go for it.
Yeah.
But for me though, it's not really much different because the thing is, how physical you are over there. If you don't have any gear on, it'll be injuries galore. Rugby. So it's a very good sports. They're both different, but they're both very, very good to watch live. Honestly, very, very competitive sports.
Yeah. How about what are your thoughts on this 5-1 beatdown that City experienced? Actually, hold on, because this is something that I have learned. I've seen these videos sort of pop up on my social media, and it's like the dart competitions, and there's just so many people behind them, and and a bullseye happens and the place loses it. And that energy it's really cool. I do enjoy it. I mean, I love playing it. And it'll be fun with friends, but to think that there's like a few thousand people behind them just absolutely locked into two guys throwing tiny darts at a target, and you can have that energy. It's so cool.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. It's definitely worthwhile going away. I mean, I'm going to one happily soon as well, so that'll be good. It's a very good experience.
Okay. So back to this game yesterday.
Yeah. Back to the Arsenal game.
What were your thoughts on it? Final thoughts, because Pep is doing his thing where he was like, hey, of course, the final 15-20 minutes awful. But other than that, for 60 minutes, we looked good. We controlled the situation. And if you look at the statistics and things like that, sure, yes, City were the more dominant side. But eye test. We gave them the first 2 goals. Haaland scores, immediately gives up another goal, and then just completely falls off the cliff the final 20 minutes. How did that match leave you feeling, especially now that we've both had kind of a night and a day to let it ruminate?
Honestly, it still annoys me because the thing is, like, I watched the women's game before that.
Yes.
And that irritated me even more because my opinion on the women's game, right? I've watched it since it first came back properly in 2013, 14, around that time it probably came back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a massive fan of Gareth Taylor. I just don't think. I think he's got it all wrong. Chloe Kelly should still be at City. So should Lana Kennedy. A lot of these players that we should still be at City have moved on, and now we're seeing the issues now. I think when I watched that Arsenal game, we have some good players, by the way. Mary Fowler's great. I love Vivian Miedemar. Love Bonnie Shaw. We've got probably one of the best teams in the league, and yet we're 4th. I know it's the men's game, but it's giving you an idea of where we should be 2nd. Chelsea.
Yeah.
But lost United, beat Villa just about beat Villa because of Miedemar. And then so for me, for the women's game, we need to move on from Taylor. I mean, that sounds pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've got to a point now where our team's that good. We need to have a manager who's like a Bompastor at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Experience, can come in, guide these players to a trophy. Because that's what it used to be years ago. Now we're like not saying the doldrums, but like not really where we should be.
Yeah, get very close and falls apart. We very much cover City women on our pod. We call them our baby blue baddies. So like we very big fond of them. when the players they started the season fantastic, and I was starting to become moved by Garrett Taylor. I'm not a big fan of him, but hearing the players talking positively of him, the play was fun, and the players also talking about the trophies that he got rid of some of the staff, or the staff left, so then it was truly Garrett's team. It was one of those things I didn't want to put negativity on the squad. I wanted to give him a chance. So I just wiped my board clean, even though I know how I felt about him. And I was like, hey, let's just see how this season is going. You were correct. He absolutely bottled the Chloe Kelly situation, whether it's him or Doris or whoever it is. They did not well, I don't want to blame Doris because she's new, but Gareth and everybody has handled it wrong. We could tell it was immediately there was a problem, because it's like, why is Chloe Kelly not getting any playing time, like at all?
Yeah.
And the fact that she had to go to IG and all these other things, it's to the point where she felt like she had no choice but to do that. She didn't know where else to go or what else to do, and that was the only way that she figured she could force her way out. And you don't ever want that to happen. But with the Euros coming, Serena Fegman has said that she needs to see consistent playing time for her, or she could be left off the Euros team. I know leaving her off the Euros team, that sounds like impossible, but she could definitely lose her starting position.
Yeah, 100%. And the problem is that the way he's handled it as well. Like, look at the comments, like Alana Kennedy, who just left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not coincidence that it's just one player. Like, bear in mind, Bunny Shaw could very easily lead his clubs to feel like Lyon or Barcelona. We're not in women's game. We aren't like we are in a men's game. We're not top dogs. Nowhere near it.
Mm-hmm.
Barcelona, Lyon, Chelsea. We're not. Arsenal used to be that. Not at the moment, but they're getting back to that. We used to be in a conversation. I think for our own country, obviously the Premier League, but not the Champions League. We're still a long way away from that, in my opinion. Like, even though we've got a great team, we haven't got the right coaching in place to. Because, like, look, to beat Barcelona 2-0 at home was brilliant. I remember watching that. I was so impressed. Like, the way we sort of held off Putellas, Bonmati, and Guajaro. Probably the modern day Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. Women's, sort of style of it. But the problem is, since them games, we've seen a massive decline. Like, and we've won games, we have, but that derby was so infuriating. Like Ella Toon scored a hat trick against us. That was really just a real. I think from now on, it's not going to work this season. We got the players for it, but we haven't got the manager to guide us in those games to get ourselves aligned, and nick a win. So obviously, I'm not a person to always say sack the manager, but if you can see where the wind is blowing, where it's going to head to at some point, like this season will probably be a top 4 if we're lucky. The way it's going right now.
We definitely need to be, at least we need to be in that Champions League spot. I don't expect us to win the Champions League. And yes, losing Greenwood, losing him, losing Shaw, those are big and significant absences. But there really hasn't seemed to be much adjustment. There doesn't seem to be even in the game. And that's kind of my frustration with Garrett Taylor, are when he chooses to make subs or when he chooses to not make any subs. With someone like Pep, we can go 2 months on a downward trend because of all the success that Pep has had in his career for Manchester City. He has earned a lot of goodwill. Garrett Taylor, I do not believe he has done that. I'm with you. And if this season continues to kind of putter along, I don't know if you listened to the pre-match press conference from Gareth before the game on Arsenal. He was real chippy when people were asking about the Chloe Kelly situation. The first time he mentioned it, it sounded all nice and rehearsed. But then the second time someone asked, he got a little more annoyed. And then the third time he cut the person off and he was like, I'm over talking about this person. And what frustrates me the most about it is he talks about people instead of, but he talks, well, he won't say the names. He'll be like, player, this person. That feels very rude. And I understand you don't want to say names and things like that, but half the time when he kind of talks about a player but doesn't say their name, we know who he's talking about. And I feel like that is just very dramatic from a guy who tries to seem like he's not dramatic.
Now, on the men's game now, obviously the women's game was 4-3 loss. I was frustrated with that one. I know we came coming back, but 4-3 at home, that ain't good enough, especially for how good we are. And I know Arsenal are a good team themselves, obviously the women's team.
Yeah.
But we're at home. You can't do 4-3 at home like that. But it is what it is. I think the issues are there what they would need to be. Hopefully they get sorted, hopefully, in the long run. But the men's game, I mean, I have never seen, and Grant, I'll be honest with you, right? I've seen some bad City teams. But obviously before the takeover, obviously post it. But the way this mentality of this team has collapsed, I think it's the first time in a while I've seen a team so mentally disorganized in all my life. Like that game, mistakes, fair enough.
Yes.
They happen. But when they're happening often, repetitively, they're not learning from their mistakes, and the way their heads just drop under pressure. That's one thing I've always said before. If you want to win anything in football, you've got to have the mentality to keep pushing on. Even if it isn't going your way, you keep fighting. And if you lose the game, it's what it is. You go again and try to push on for another win next game. That game yesterday, Arsenal weren't that good yesterday. They weren't.
No.
They were handed that win on platter by us. We said, here you go. Here's all the space. Have it all. And I don't care how bad Arsenal are. They will score goals. They did. They got 5. It could have been more than that another day. Because we kept making the stupid mistakes. And this has been just a one-time thing. This has been going on for weeks now.
Yes.
Sporting away, Tottenham at home, United at home, Brentford away, PSG away. Very, very common, situations. And by the way, just to interrupt you, City are about to announce Gonzalez. I've just seen a tweet City put out. So
wait, what just happened?
City have just put a tweet hinting at Gonzalez.
Oh, okay. City have. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I thought you said they botched it, and I was like, wait,
no.
What?
No,
I just want to melt down.
So, white flag. No,
throw the season away. Put in some rice, please.
But no. I'm guessing at 11 p.m. UK time they'll probably announce them. But look, obviously we'll go into that in a bit, obviously. But in terms of the Arsenal game, I want to shout out a few players that I thought did pretty well for us. I thought Savinho was brilliant again.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But he deserves better than his team's got right now. He deserves better than this. Like him, Marmoush, Haaland, Gvardiol, Kevin De Bruyne, Foden. I mean, he's really got to improve Foden because it's been really hit and miss. He's got goals, but let's be honest with ourselves here. It's the odd good game here and there, not consistently good game. It's been one game good, next game, it's not been consistently good games. And you have to say, probably his worst game of the season for me yesterday. And it's mad because he actually did pretty well in the build up to our goal. But to give away the ball to Partey straight after we got the goal, it just felt like you can't accept that. Like as a footballer, you don't do that. A suicide pass right into but you gotta hold the ball, pass it off, or when in doubt, clear out for a throw in, settle themselves and go again. They don't do that. Like under fives are taught that. Not to do that. It's I know it sounds like I'm being really harsh.
I feel like there was because we do watch alongs for all of the games we can now. And there was 3 possessions in a row, maybe even 4 possessions. And I feel like one of the Partey was the first, but it was 3 straight possessions where Phil Foden gave the ball away immediately. Like you get the ball and dribble it away and you get taken away. All right, you get the ball and make the pass and it frustrates me because they'll try to make those super tight passes, but then when you have Savio or Marmoush or Haaland streaking upward, they just look up and then hold on to the ball. And those are the situations that Pep is talking about when the players need to learn when to kind of take advantage of this space or not. Yes, possession, that's part of the game, but you are supposed to take chances with this. And I would much rather try to make that long pass to Haaland, to Marmoush, to Savio, making those runs. If we lose the ball, cool. Now everybody press, and we're now pressing on their side of the pitch instead of us losing the ball right outside our box and 2 dribbles and a pass, and all of a sudden we've given up a goal. We just need to play with way more confidence and trusted. Yeah, and like you said, just the mentality monsters are absolutely gone. And yes, losing nonstop for 2 months will do that. But yeah, it's sad to see the state of the club.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't mind not winning leagues. Like, look, it happens, but it's the way you lose them for me.
Yes,
we've lost this because we whimper. We kind of like in a way, 1920 wasn't great. It really wasn't. We look at the amount of games we actually lost and threw away, but it wasn't this bad. Like, it wasn't great. Talent wasn't great. It was consistently bad. It was like two or 3 good games, 1 or 2 bad games after that. This has been like 1 in 13, then a couple of good ones here and there, then another bad result, a win, and we're not really, we're not back. We're not.
No,
those wins are great, but yesterday proved it. We are nowhere near back yet. This team mentally needs to recover. To win trophies, you need to be up here, ready. There's obviously everything else ready. You've got to have yourself the mentality to keep pushing. Because in football, it's hard. In NFL, it's hard. NBA, it's all about mentality. If you're locked in, you have every chance of winning anything. But if you don't have that and your confidence is shot, it ain't going to happen. And yesterday proved it. Arsenal, to be fair to them, did deserve to win the game based purely on the fact that we gave them it, and also they're probably the more stable team overall. The problem is, we keep doing this every game to ourselves. Too many mistakes, too many issues, and big up Haaland for the goal. Great header against Saliba. I thought with what he did in that game, he did pretty well. But the problem was, you've got Marmoush, who's trying to get him behind, but no one's finding him. You've got 2 of the best players on the counter attack in Europe. Can't find them because we haven't got players. Apart from Kevin De Bruyne with that ball. Foden can, but he doesn't do it enough. We need players in this team. Like if Gonzalez could do that pass, great, brilliant. Because we need is what we need now. Forward passing, counter attack. You stuck Savio, Dofu, Marmoush, Bob, Pace. Got to start going back to the Centurion season. Really? Centurion's football. Bring it back. Haaland up front, wingers, over Forks, Frimpong. If you want to get Frimpong in the summer, right back.
I love that.
We overlap. Because look, if it's Frimpong Gavardio, do it. Honestly, do it. I'm down for that. But we got to decide now if that's what we're going to do. Because right now, I'm working. Like, if I ask you, Crunk, what is our system? Would you know? Really?
No. I mean, like, how and specifically we're building up, and it definitely changes often. And I saw the post too. Manchester City officially welcome Nico.
There he is. Obviously, obviously edited, but I get it. It's obviously on the rush the final day.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy photo of him. It's just like, that's interesting. But yeah, I'm sure I will wake up to more content of him doing the typical, the photo with Cheeky and the
Yeah,
digital
yeah.
signing his name and all those other things that they make him
He's a
do.
good player. He's a good player. He'll play. He will be. But as a fan base, we obviously got into him in a bit. We can't overhype him. Right, save us. That's not how it works.
Yes.
He's here to help us, not save us. We're beyond saving, really. The only way we say players have to leave for us to get. It sounds like I'm being really harsh here, but the current group of players we've got, some are done, some of them want to be here. We're trying to work out which ones are done, which one. And this is when this part of the season now. Obviously, it's shut now. The window. This is where the club now will decide, right, which ones are going, which ones are staying. So I reckon Kev, new contract. Foden, I guess we'll get a new deal. So Rodri. This is where players get new contracts now. Viana comes in and it's over. So this is where, for me, I'm interested to see what happens now. Because I think, for me, the best deal for me was Haaland. That new deal.
Yes.
10-year contract. That's the best deal. Because we've got the best striker in the world now for the next 10 years. He could retire here, really. He could end up retiring here.
I'm hopeful.
1,000 City goal, probably. 1,000 City goal.
yes, I'm hopeful. But yeah, let's keep it moving to the outgoing players real quick. And we had Jacob Wright. He left to Swansea City for $5 million.
I think it's Norwich, mate. I think Swansea. It was a late change, I think.
Oh, was it?
He's gone Norwich for a loan deal plus obligation to buy. So he's gone, basically. Wright's gone, sadly. But yeah. It's a shame, but I want to get a chance. But it's when he didn't play against Salford, I thought, yeah, he ain't playing. He's out. Like if you're a young player not being played an FA Cup game, then it's kind of obvious at that point where he sees you. But yeah, he's at Norwich now with Callum Doyle.
Norwich, huh? Okay, well the price is still the same. Yeah.
Still the same price.
Okay. That's good at least. And at least he's with a player that he is somewhat familiar with. I mean, he is someone that you can tell he still needs a little bit of time, and it's hopeful. And the only way players like that can get better is by playing, unfortunately. And he's not really going to get anything like that. Issa Kabore came back, and he was immediately shipped to Werder Bremen.
He'll be off in the summer. I reckon he'll be off in summer. He'll be off. He obviously isn't going to get played. And I like Kabore, good player, just not good enough for us, sadly.
Yeah, and he's doing great at Werder Bremen.
Oh,
he's every single match. He started all coming from the typical. He's coming on as a sub. It was like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and all but one match that he's played in, they haven't lost. And then he got the start this last match, and they won 1-0. He just brings the energy that is needed for that team, and especially with Bundesliga, where they care about the tactics, but in the end, I like that they try to score more goals than the other person.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kyle Walker, loan to AC Milan. It's a $1 million loan fee, and then $5 million is how they can make it permanent in the summer. We all know it feels like the outside mess affected his inside mess. It also didn't help that City altogether weren't playing the best. I don't think that he's like slowed down or what. I mean, when he was playing, you could definitely tell that there was like a delay in kind of his movements and things like that. But it's just unfortunate that this is the way that we're losing our legends, is they're leaving disgruntled, offended, harassed, instead of, the legends of past where they're going almost, we felt, too soon, too early. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this Kyle Walker situation?
Yeah, it's a sad one, but I think we can all see that I think he really should have gone in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I think that treble season where he cooked the Junior in that semi final, that was the last hurrah for me. It's kind of like we should have moved on, got our full back like a friend Pog at the time or whoever was available, or give Kuto a chance and move forward. Look, and it's hindsight, but last season and this season he's been awful. Like I'm not saying that's the one. I'm not trying, but his pace is gone. The one thing that he had that made the probably the best fullback in the world at top for what he did was that pace to catch Mbappe, V Junior, Martinelli, pacey wingers. Like even Neymar, he had Neymar, Messi. He's on them all. But the problem is, and they're all right. I always remember him how good he was, rather than how bad he was towards the end.
Yes.
The problem is, I'm at the point now where I don't care who you are. We've got to think about the club here, I think it was just beyond him now staying here. I think for his own sake, obviously his personal stuff behind the scenes, he needs to get out of the UK. That awful media and the way it is.
Yes.
And Italy is probably the best place for him right now. In terms of the pace of the game, the way it is, I think it's probably where he should be right now for me. I think that's probably where he's probably retire. Italy or America or something like that. Just get away from the UK. The UK has kind of like made him this massive scapegoat.
Yes.
It's not right anymore. I think it's time to move on. I think he's done the right thing for his career there. I wish him all the best, but this summer, get right back in. Get it right back in the summer. Get that 2 shirt is now free. It's right there for anyone if anyone want to come in and take it. Frimpong, Cambiasso, right there for you.
Yeah, Cambiasso would be the best, and obviously there seems to be an interest in the City. Cambiasso seems to be interested in City. Juventus know that they're not going to be able to hold on to him. They definitely need the money. So, yeah, it seems like it could be the move that works for everybody. Then the Jumaba loan to Lens. He came for $6 million from Real Valladolid. And, yeah, he came, and I think he went directly to Lens from Real, and because I saw Lens make the announcement video, and I was so confused. I was like, "What?" I haven't even seen any posts that he came to City, and they posted a tiny little article on their website, basically just being like, "Hey, he's gone." It's like, "Oh, okay, good job, City."
Oh, honestly though, the thing is, right? Juma Bar, Vitor Hayes, and Husanov, they're long-term players. They're not gonna. Not being rude. They're not gonna help us really right now. They'll try, but they're not. Like we need to get rid of certain players in the team to bring in more experienced players for Fed to start coming through. I reckon if Vitor Hayes, I'm sure will have game time, but it wouldn't surprise me if at some point he's loaned out for a season somewhere, because I'm not against him giving him a go. If he start off really well and kick on and to play really well, I'm all for giving him a chance. But Husanov, for me, I think I've seen enough to say he's good. Obviously, that mistake against Chelsea was unlucky, but he recovered really, really well.
Yes,
I'm sure Juma Bar's the exact same. Like I'm happy with having all three the level players we've got, but they're for the future rather than now. Which, to be honest with you, Echeverry, Mamouche, Jumaba, Husanov, Vitor Hayes, and I'm forgetting someone, and Gonzalez. 6 new players are coming into the club. Well, Bar's obviously on loan. 5 new players coming into the club. Honestly, that's great because it's 5 new players that can come in and give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do think in the summer we are a lot of players leaving, and that's probably right. But that's probably more for end of season sort of chat about that probably. But in terms of the window, I'm actually pretty happy. Obviously, a right back would be nice, but I'd rather just get the right player for the right price for the right back. You can't just go for any old player and just pay £80 million for a right back. You need to make sure that you're actually going for the right player. If Cambiasso is that player you want to get in the summer, obviously go and get him. But we've got to see how that works. Because I think for Frimpong, if it's got release clause, that's actually good for us. So I'm actually saying, for Frimpong actually was well, if we said to him, right, here's an offer, a contract offer, come back, he would. I think he would. Back home, back at City. I think, obviously, that's what I want personally, but I know probably City want someone different. But I think in the summer we'll definitely see a progression on that. But in terms of window, in terms of like Buma Bar and that, I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I am happy. Of course, we would like to get an official right back, but in order for anyone to come in that would be effective, yeah, that would be big money that would have to be spent. Nunes, honestly, we know he's going to get cooked at least once or twice because he, for some reason, loves to stick a foot out. I don't know why. Like, bro, you already know you're a midfielder playing right back. I don't know why you're trying to win.
He's not a right back, mate.
Yeah, like why are you trying to win these ground duels? But he's been the least of our worries, honestly. I feel defensively.
He's not Delph. Like Delph could do it because Delph has the ability to have the pace himself to do it still. The problem is that Nunes is an attacking player, not a defensive player. Delph was a more defensive player and could do that role. If you put like I don't know, Bernardo Silva a few years ago there, it's probably all right. But you know what I mean? It's like I think long term, in terms of fullbacks, that's probably where we need to go next. Obviously midfield as well. But I think two midfielders obviously is just to help us out there. But long term, definitely a new fullback. But yeah, I think Nunes to me I can't see it being a long term thing. If Pep keeps trying it doesn't work. It's not working at all. It works every now and again against Chelsea, but Chelsea were terrible against us. So
it's going to be, unless Kuznetsov seems to get a little more comfortable. But yeah, I don't know who he trusts enough to be a right winger. And if I don't mind it because he's just there as an extra body, his energy, the height, things like that. Like I get why he's on there. He stays wide. He's really good at sending in those crosses, honestly. Like he was great when he was playing left wing. He had a bunch of assists as a left winger. But almost every cross I felt like he sent in against Arsenal, those look dangerous. He's gotten better. So it is kind of what it is with him. I mean, when we play Real Madrid, I really don't want him to start, but I just think that that's what Pep is going to do, and that's kind of what we have to accept. It's like, oh man,
what we got to do is, okay, I think for me, right, look, Leyton Orient is a game, is a different game in itself. Forget that right now. Madrid's that next big game. We'll lost at Arsenal 5-1. This team has got to respond. We can't lose Madrid as well. You have, I think for me now, you have to beat Madrid. Because if you lose to Madrid, then what? Because like the season at that point kind of like crash lands. I know we've got FA Cup still, but if that's obviously it's Orient. Obviously, Orient are still a good team that deserve respect.
Yes,
but to lose 5-1 to Arsenal, full teams, you cannot not respond. This team has got to be in training, defending better. Hopefully, with Gonzalez and this team, the energy at the back, get Kev and Foden and Gonzalez as a midfield, or someone else there. I think for me at this point, Bernardo Kovacic and Gundogan, no, only one of them will do now. We can't keep doing two or three of them. It's like watching old people's home. Them guys out there, it's not that they're not good enough on the ball. They are. They haven't got the pace. And in the Premier League, you need pace. It was Italy. I wouldn't care. Crack on. But in Germany, in Spain, in England, you need legs. We haven't got a pace, and legs are gone. At that point, it's time to go to probably Italy, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, wherever.
Somewhere, wherever. Yeah, they don't know where. And then even we've seen like Rico almost hit a ceiling with what he can do. And it's one of those things we very much need him in as a midfielder. But in order for him to be able to move up there, we need a lot of people to get out of the way and open up a chance for him. But him as the right back, it's obvious it's done and over. That if he's starting to put Nunes and it just comes down to he's a great player, but the height is a huge loss. And when he plays all the football, he's not the most explosive player, but when he plays at like 110%. But when you're playing every 3 days, that 110% becomes like 95%, then becomes 70%. And with the lack of height, the lack of peak athleticism, when he can't run his version of 100 miles per hour per second, it's the drop off is immediate. And he was just getting pushed around and knocked down, and it hurt my heart actually seeing it happen, watching him just get kind of like tossed around, and the team itself doesn't have the intensity or fire of their own selves to stick up for Rico or to make up for what maybe he was lacking. And so, yeah, there's a lot of lessons. I think City are going to have a lot of real tough decisions and discussions for the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So Christian McFarland, he joined from New York City FC, left back, 18 years old. He's English born, but he's been in America for the last, 5-6 years, I believe. It's a multi-million-dollar deal for New York City FC. The amount is undisclosed, but because of his age, it counts as a free transfer because he's 18. So that's a good addition. He is not ready now, but he is somebody to look at in the future. When I talked to my friends at New York City FC, they are very high on him. And obviously, if he's got signed by City, they hope for the best for him. But it's someone that we might not see for 1-2 seasons, but he should be somebody that we can look out for.
Yeah, 100%. And he's more of the long term anyway. He's not gonna come in really right. I can't see him playing for a while anyway. I'm not saying he can't do it. Like I watched Kevon Sullivan in America, look like a very good player, but we can't remember most of these young players, unless you're like Echeverry. I think Echeverry will play. I think he'll play. I think Pep will be shooting not to play him because he's that kind of player that I think will come in, offer a bit. Imagine you got Marmouche, Echeverry, and Savinho in one team in Haaland. And you can have Foden in there as well. Kev, you can mix it up. That's what we need. Obviously, midfielder as well, midfield support as well. But when we get this sorted, if we have a fresh team, new look, I think Pep is going now, and I've seen what he's trying to do. Go back to Centurion's style of play. Because he's gone for pasty wingers again. He's brought, obviously, the middle's old, but obviously you get Rodri back in there again, Gonzalez as well, and you start getting more players in. I think we're going back to that style again. Now, I know obviously in Europe it might not work, but I think with Europe now, we've got experience of playing there. And we're used to, I think defensively, we're a lot better than say it right now, not this season, but in previous years when everyone's fit and we've got a good stable midfield in front of us, we're a lot better than we used to be. In that sense. So I can see what he's trying to do, but I'm intrigued to see how this kind of plays out rest of the season. I think, look, title-wise to get it, it's done. I can't see us turning it around this kind of deficit. It's especially with our current form. Liverpool and Arsenal, what was it? They're great, but they're getting wins themselves. I think we've got to just focus on now just getting top four and just sucking it up and saying, look, we aren't great. It's annoying for us to be where we are.
Yes.
Got to accept it. Next season, hunger season, go and beat them all. Liverpool, Arsenal, go to the Emirates and win. Next year's all about revenge next year. But this year's all about pre-season for next season. Now, literally end the season strong. Start next season well with new players in. Obviously got the World Cup as well. America coming up. Well, not the World Cup, obviously. The Club World Cup, not that's next year. But yeah. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what I think in terms of McFarlane, obviously long term, I'll watch him and see how he does. Obviously, for 3DS, I'm sure we'll see him at some point. Probably, I reckon next year we'll see him probably in the Cup. I reckon next year, the Carabao and the I reckon the FA Cup. I reckon. I think right now definitely not, but next year, especially preseason, definitely. So
yeah, and I'm interested. I'm going to try to go to a couple of the Club World Cup games, specifically the one in Orlando, just because like I know a bunch of people are going to be there. Like I just had Derek Ray on the podcast,
Yeah.
and basically I'm going to meet up with him in Orlando, and there are a few other people that I know that are going to be in Orlando, and they're like, hey, if you're down there, come say hi. And I very much have a don't go to Florida rule unless I have to do something, unless I have to work. And so if it's going to be a work trip, I'm willing to go to Florida, but I try to avoid that state altogether because it can get terrifying real quickly.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it can.
So let's talk about the players that we do know. I'll save Nico Gonzalez for last because I spent the last few days kind of looking at the statistics, obviously watching videos and things like that. But I like using stats in certain ways to kind of get the general idea, a gist of what we can expect. But like you said, we can't expect Nico Gonzalez to come and save us. Rodri didn't do it. It took Rodri really 2-3 seasons for us to be like, oh no, he's going to be great. After that first season itself, a lot of people wanted him gone. Like a lot of people will not talk about that. Yeah,
Rodri, as he was called. Yeah, God, yeah. That people have very short memories, but trust me, the ones that support them, we remember.
Yeah,
he
was scrawny. He was giving the ball away all the time. He was just holding on to the ball for no reason. Yeah, it was it was stressful. And now look at him, Ballon d'Or winner. Well, like amazing.
Yeah, mate, his return will be legendary. I'd love it if next season, right, he scored the winner against Arsenal next season. Him and Haaland, honestly, the greatest way that we could get revenge on Arsenal is if we were to beat at the Emirates 2-1 last minute, like Rodri and Haaland, and like properly annoyed them. I hope one day we do that, because that 5-1 win is really think, you know what? I'm not rattled. I want to beat them just to get back at them lot for being so mouthy now on social media. And look, for me, right, it's just funny to see them get all giddy over a win when they're still behind Liverpool still. Look, for me, and it's just really mad, right? Seeing Liverpool fans back us saying, well, hold a minute, you have to go at a City, but we've won all this stuff. You've won nothing. Because Liverpool actually won stuff themselves. Liverpool, I respect more, because Liverpool actually have won stuff in our dominance. Arsenal won nothing. Arsenal are mouthing off at a 5-1 win. But well done, you beat us 5-1. But where's your trophy?
And that's kind of the thing. I posted on social media that this was one of the worst losses I've seen, and we need to feel the way that we're feeling. But like trying to check all the Arsenal fans, for one, don't feed a troll, and that's all you're doing by trying to come at them. Yes, we can point out that the whole stay humble thing just means, like, perfect example, they're doing too much. They're doing too much without actually winning things.
Using a Kendrick song as well. That really, I've caught. I knew that's going to happen, but it's gonna. I thought that song's going to use at some point. Now we hear it, and
I know, right? Right, and
fair enough. I thought, you know what? Fair play, good song.
Facts.
Also, fair play. I was like, if I was going to use a humble song, there it is.
Exactly, it is what it is. They were waiting for this moment, and I will be very interested to see how they do the next couple of weeks, because they obviously put a lot of energy into this match and how it was going to play. But I just didn't like seeing City fans, after all we've won in the last few years, for us to kind of fall over ourselves trying to like rain on Arsenal's parade. Like, that's, the team is struggling too much for us to be like worrying about what other teams are doing. Like, move on, do your other thing. Yeah. So that was frustrating. Yes, we've discussed that. I'm actually shocked to hear that you think Vitor Hayes could go on loan. I mean, it's not surprising, but it's just, I know that we're going to lose so many people. Like the Portuguese league that he would have been playing in, their season would just be starting kind of right now. So he still needs to kind of get in shape. I do agree that like Kuznetsov and Hayes kind of need to bulk up a little bit. They still seem a little thin. It also helps that, well, at least Hayes has a few other Portuguese speakers on the team. So like people can do things like that. Kuznov, who speaks very little English, and even if they find a good enough translator, like the translator relaying Pep's tactics and how he sees football through Uzbek, I feel like that's gonna take some time. And I definitely think he's gonna get there, and I'm very excited for what he can be. And I like that Kuznov, especially Kuznov and Heist, they are two parts of the coin, where Heist is the ball playing center back. He's fun, he's exciting. Even his personality, he likes to have a lot of fun. And then you have Kuznov, who is the physical. He will knock people over, and just he always looks pissed off, and that's just who he is. I kind of love that, and that in theory should be the future of our center backs. Jumaba can get in there, and he's a monster of a man. He also can ping the ball around, and he tries to score it himself. The future is looking very bright. I do think in the summer, though, we're going to have to get some names that are more substantial, that we feel, you can come in now and start, because, Akanji, if he stays, he definitely is a backup now. Stones, I think Stones has to leave. It's between just his injury problems, and we saw it yesterday. Yes, there was the one goal that bounced off his back, but he was just backtracking the entire time. He didn't look interested in being a defender. And both the goals, how are you? You're 5 meters in front of Ortega, and you're still backing up. Like, how much more space are you going to give him to get the shot off? And it was just sad to see multiple times he has the ball and he's literally putting arms out like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. It's like, you shouldn't be. He is one of the eldest players on the team playing under Pep ball, and he doesn't know where to go with the ball. And I rewatched the match today because I just wanted to make sure that my anger wasn't clouding how I was seeing the game. And truly, it was just like John Stones. He played like he was brand new. I would have thought that was Kuznov, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's gonna be a long summer. I think Club World Cup aside, I'm prepared for players to go. I don't care who goes anymore. I think for me, I'm like, we need to move. Like, me personally, we've won what we've won. Thank you for the memories, but we've got to start getting this team back on track again. If players like Jack have to go, Barlow has to go. It'd be sad to see him go, but we've got to move forward into new beginnings. Next year, I'm ready to go again. I mean, look, this year we're still going now, but I'm kind of like, I can see where it's kind of going here. Really, like, obviously, if we do well, win something, of course I'll take it. But
yes, but it's not expected at all.
No, not because look, Gonzalez is going to be a good signing for us. I think he'll be a good player for us long term. I can see a lot of potential in this guy being a real player for this team. But he's not gonna change us completely. He'll help us out a lot. He will. I think a lot of games going forward now will be a lot better for us. But it's not. I think, look, Real Madrid, it might actually help us out because bear in mind, Madrid right now at the back are dodgy, injuries galore. So we've got a chance of beating them, but it's the other side that I'm worried about, because defensively, Nunez against Vinicius Junior. No, so I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like watching Nunez try and defend against V Junior. I mean, if he wins the battle, I'd laugh, but I think that game's next week, right? It's next week, and that's gonna be a game, right? That I have no idea what's gonna happen. I couldn't tell you the score of that game. It could be anything. It could be us winning 4-0 somehow, or losing 3-0, or drawing 3-0. It's one of them games that I think Madrid City over the years been a really random game of football where I don't know what's gonna happen. So Honestly, I'm doing a watch along both games. Obviously, it's going to be an absolute crazy, ridiculous game where I'm going to be like all over the place emotionally for a playoff game. By the way, for a playoff game, not even the last 16 game or a quarter final, a playoff game to get to play Leverkusen. Let's come Madrid.
Broadcasters, that's their dream. That is their little dream, to have Real Madrid playing and Man City playing each other in a play-in match. Because I'm sure most people, when this competition was first announced, that they thought that the playoff game would be the least interesting of all of the matches.
It's got Bayern, PSG, City, Madrid. It's because let's be honest here, right? We're told stay humble, mate. Madrid, stay humble. PSG, stay humble, bro. We're gonna hold that. Bayern got to hold that. Bayern aren't that good. It's just Harry PSC.
Mm-hmm. Celtic
could beat them. Celtic could generally beat them.
Celtic are dangerous when they want to be. They are a very good attacking team. They ran City off the park in Durham, North Carolina. I know it was off season, but they played so comfortable, and they have this belief in themselves that is very cool to see.
Honestly, people are sleeping on those playoffs. Mm-hmm. They really are, because Brest PSG, that was a game to watch, because Brest have done well this season. What was it? They're mid-table in the league, but they did really well in the Champions League.
Yeah, they were in the top 3 until the final 2 games, which is unfortunate. I kind of wanted to see them stay in the top 8 and then see what they could do with some time and all of that other stuff. But yeah, now that they have to do these play-ins and against a team like PSG, it will be interesting to see how they go at that.
Well, Crank as well, though. Like, you got Sporting versus Dortmund, which would be a game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Juve PSV, another game to watch. Bruges Atalanta, another good game to watch. Like, you got some Monaco Benfica, final AC Milan. These are not bad games to watch. These actually pretty. This is what I mean. I think this format is not terrible. It's just that it needs to be done properly so the players aren't getting overplayed.
Mm-hmm.
If it's make it 6 games, or make it possible where, like, I don't know, like, there's a certain limit you have to get to. Let's say if you win the game at a certain point, you finish top, or just find a way around it. Because I feel like 8 games is way too much.
What I think they need to do is almost like how in rugby, what is it? When you score 3 tries, you get an extra bonus point. Like, I think that's what they need to do. Like, if you win by 3 or 4, you get an extra point. So you can get 4 points. If you win by a 3-goal margin, I feel like you should get an extra point for, like, beating down a team. Like, things like that, I feel like they need to figure out ways to make it so, because those final... This is what they wanted, was with those extra 2 games, make it more exciting. But that is where it made things trouble. And with the Club World Cup, every team is going to have to embrace bigger squads and really learn how to do the proper rotation. And I'm excited because all of this season has forced Pep. He's admitted, hey, maybe we need to do bigger teams. We need to do bigger teams. I've learned my lesson that we will need bigger teams. And let's just see if that is true and what will happen.
Yeah. But honestly, though, I'm looking forward to watching like this season. Right, I know we're not playing very well. I think for me, right, look, it's hard because you hate losing certain games, right? Like the way we've lost them. But if we could just end the season strong, like go far in the Champions League and just see how we do, we'll see what happens. Like, I mean, I'm not saying we'll win it, but like, football's a weird game. It's a funny old game, football. Like, we could be like 4th or 5th in the Premier League, yet somehow win the Champions League.
Yeah,
it sounds crazy, but we could do it.
It could, yeah.
If we get past Madrid, right, and we survive the Bernabeu without getting humiliated, like with that crowd behind us,
fair.
We've got a chance, but the problem is that we've got to see it to actually believe it. City, like, I could believe it if this was like City of like last year, and we're quite unlucky where we are right now. But it's like, if we can get up here sorted out, we'll be a lot better.
Facts.
A lot better.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Marmouche, he's been looking
Oh,
great, and I worry that they're not necessarily feed because he's making these runs, and I know Pep is going to tell him, "Hey, you're going to have to make set." Sorry about that.
sorry.
I just worry about maybe he loses interest in making those runs. I mean, Pep did sub off Phil Foden, but Marmouche, he seems hungry. Savio seems hungry. I know Phil Foden, he's going through whatever he's going through personally, physically,
Yeah,
something, but whatever it is, something is off and it needs to be fixed. And I think the only way that that really gets fixed is not by him playing it off because he's been trying to play it off for the last 3-4 months. It's I he just needs time. It, no matter how the season ends, I don't think we need to see him at all at the Club World Cup. I would love for him to play, but he obviously needs time off to be a dad. Like I
yeah.
don't know what's going on.
The thing is, right, whenever I watch, like, because I mean, Marmouche and me so far, like, people say, oh, he wasn't good against Arsenal. Well, the problem was against Arsenal is that we didn't play any forward passes.
Mm-hmm.
If Kev was playing, trust me, I reckon we score more than one goal because we need to buy players who play forward passes. We've
Mm-hmm.
got to stop doing this pass side. It doesn't work because everyone just sit back. Okay, all right, you carry on playing side passes. We'll just sit here and park the bus. Pep's got to find a way, right? Of yes, control is important, but get back to the game management. When let's say we get 2 or 3 goals past team, chill, let's relax, get to the corner
Get the
flag,
game off. Yeah.
game off. Because that's one thing about us in Triple Year that we did very well. We killed games off when we were done. Like, even against like Brentford, 2-0 up. You 2-0 up at Brentford away from home. Get to the corner flag, waste time, irritate the home crowd, kick out certain players. Vissa,
Mm-hmm.
go at him, but we just let them back in the game. We got to turn that round. We've got to make that a priority this season. If anything, right, going into next season, work on the game management, putting the ball back in the net consistently, obviously, and focus on getting games won rather than worrying about the game. Because I think it's sort of basketball, and Marmouche is a key to that. Marmouche and Haaland together is a great concept, but it
Perfect.
only
Yeah.
works almost playing forward passes. Marmouche has the pace. And I'm guaranteed he's Haaland, he'll pass them. He'll do it. Because he knows he isn't the made man, but he can also score goals as well. If Haaland will say, well, go on, if you can shoot, do it. We've got a player who with an ego is very chilled, relaxed on the ball, and the person who's concerned on the ball. He's got that aura about him. That I hate saying that word, but it's kind of like I can tell he has that presence about him.
Yes.
Like Mahrez did. Mahrez had that presence about him where he knew
Yes.
straight away on the ball. Not Mamouche touch the Mahrez, nowhere near. Mahrez is the best touch of football I've seen from someone
Yes.
probably in my life. But Mamouche on the ball, again, give him a few games. You'll see a real player. And bear in mind, right, Chelsea and Arsenal back to back. Like, I mean, a battle in the fire for him in the league. I think give him like a Newcastle at home. I think score a goal. Even Madrid right now against him and Haaland, every opportunity. So it's not the end of the world. It's kind of like I've seen what I've seen from him. I'm impressed with what I've seen, and people that I know on your shows we have a chat with, they're all the same opinion. It's like we like what we see of him, but we've got to change the style of play a bit to accommodate him and Haaland. You can't just control with them two in the team.
Yeah.
It's like you got to find a way of, and that's why I think Edison in this team is vital. Because
Yes.
Edison in this team, I think for me now, Edison can get a new contract. I reckon, right, if we play him every game now and when he's fit, he'll sign a new deal with us. Because I think we're like, you know what, you are still needed in this team right now. Your ability to play off the back is impressive. Like for any keeper in the world, I mean, him and Neuer for me are the best of that in the world for that, right? Chelsea, the long ball to Haaland, the long ball, and the hold up play. Get back to that because all do it. He can't do it. He's a guy. So I think Arsenal would have been a lot different if Arsenal played. If it would have been. I'm not saying we would have won the game, by the way. I'm saying it would have been probably less.
I would have felt so much more comfortable if we had Ederson, and it's obvious. I am a huge fan of Ederson. Last year, I thought he would find this would be the year that he'd be able to take the number one keeper spot from Alisson at Brazil, but this whole injury situation that he's having, where I low-key don't think it's an injury thing. I think it's a contract situation. I think he wants more years, more time, whatever, than City are trying to give him, and he's playing hardball, which doesn't necessarily help him out. But when Ortega comes out and plays like he does, like Ortega is a wonderful backup. He is a great player, but for how City want to play, how City need to play, Ortega is not the guy. And it's unfortunate, but I feel like it's obvious now. It's completely obvious. And even Ederson has gotten so much better at save. I feel like once a match, he is making a super strong save. And that was kind of the things that people were getting at him. It's just now availability. The best ability is availability.
100%. And Mamouche for me as a player will be, I think, for me, Mamouche, you'll see the difference of him at some point. You will. The problem is that any kind of world class player put in this team right now wouldn't help because it's not him. His mentality is fine. He's okay. It's certain players in this team can't handle pressure anymore. Yeah. Some do. Some are struggling, and everyone needs to be on the same page. If you're going for a league, a Champions League, a cup, you've got to be on the same page. Mm-hmm. And we're not. Some of us, Haaland's on the right page. He clearly is. You can tell he is. He's scoring goals. He's getting involved in the game. But some players are just not there anymore. And Mamouche, for me, is the kind of player that he's the next part. He's part of the next era of the club. Mamouche. Yes. He's part, and him with Savinho. I mean, Oscar Bob obviously been here beforehand, but he'll probably go into this one as well. Haaland obviously leading that era as well. The whole I'll call it the Haaland era. I know he's been there from the start, but this is where it really starts for Haaland now. Like this is where he really gets into his career, levels now. I think this is where it really starts for him going forward now. But I think what we got to do as fans now, like especially with Mamouche, is be patient. It's not for me. What we got to do as a fan base, it's just look. It's going to be frustrating to watch this, but we are where we are for a reason.
Yeah.
Hold your hands up. Think, all right, look, it's going to be a bit crappy at times. But if we can get to the end of the season, top 4, maybe a cup, if we play really well, and then the next season, go again.
Yeah.
The league. So, because in a way, right, going for the league again, we'll have the hunger back to the league again.
Yeah, because we'll get a lot of the people out of the way who obviously do not have that hunger. And I appreciate that Pep admitted that, hey, I made the mistake on holding on to these players. I thought that they had it, and they do not. And that is my fault, and we will now move accordingly. I wanted to kind of talk about Nico Gonzalez a little bit in detail about specifically, I guess, what I have been seeing from him, what I do like about him. And the fact that he is 6'2", so that's great, 6'2", 6'3", he's 185 pounds. He can come in and physically be imposing. So that is something that I do like. Even if he doesn't quite understand the game itself, he knows don't lose the ball. And he's great in aerial duels. He, per 90, he wins about 42%, which isn't great, but he wins almost 2 aerial duels a match, which is in the 90 percentile. Some negative of his, he does give up about 2.5 fouls a match, but that's because he is that first line defense guy. He is the person who is starting that press. And usually he wins the ball back, and then the team can kind of instantly start the attack. So he will be fantastic and very much needed for City because our press has been awful, and it's a lot of people running to the first ball, running to whoever has the ball, but then they make one pass and no one's thinking about that second or third person, and then our press has been broken down. He is fantastic at anticipating where that second, third pass will be. He wins the ball, possession one and final third. He's in the 75th percentile of that. He's in the 82nd percentile of not getting dribbled past. Like, those are some of the fantastic things that I very much like about him. His dribble success rate, it's 80%, which is the 100 percentile. And it's not like he's taking on people. He's not like a Savio or a Doku. But what he is, he wins the ball, and then when people are trying to close in on him, he's able to make a dribble, free up space, and then release the ball and set people up for success. Like one of his an actual stat, like if you look at Porto as a team and just their player stats in general, for one, he leads the team for like starters of just like plus or minus team success. Like goal difference when he's on the pitch compared to off the pitch, it's staggering. But I'm trying to get to the passing stat because he makes a lot of passes. It was, if I can remember the number, it was about 200 and something passes. But he's not a big he's not a big dribbler of the ball. He gets the ball and he releases people. Like a lot of progressive passes, a lot of long passes. He is in the 90 for successful passes, 50, about 51 a game. That's in the 97th percentile. He has 90% pass accuracy rating. He does about 3 accurate long balls a match, which is 92 percentile, and the long ball accuracy is 76%, which is in the 86th percentile. So like, he sets his team up. He quickly goes from defense to offense, which is key, and what is one of the things that Rodri did very well in our team. And we kind of see us struggling with that. We're not winning the ball back. And when we do somehow win the ball, we have Haaland, we have Marmoush now, we had Savio, we had Doku making these runs, but very rarely would Bernardo look up and make that pass. Would Gundo look up and make that pass? They will look up, see him, and then they just hold the ball. And next thing you know, we're backtracking and trying to pitter-patter up the field. He will be great at winning that ball and just immediately feeding the Haaland and letting him be able to run and do his thing. And that's what I am most excited about, where he can add, and then naturally winning the first and second balls, because that also has been a huge weakness for City this season.
100%, yeah. I think Gonzalo, to me, right, just, is, I think on the signing as well, but obviously we said before about, it's these signings that they've brought in, right, are there for the future. They're not here for, look, obviously they're for here and now, of course they are, but where we are is where we are because of the current team before them. Like, what we got to do is accept that. Some of us can't accept that the league is done. It's over. It is what it is. I know it's not officially done, but we're being realistic of ourselves there about where we are as a team. It sucks. We've got to say this, but it's not this year for a title. It's weird to say that because last 4 years we're winning non-stop, but it's the 1 year where I think the club's got to accept where we are, accept that we're not where we need to be, and we've got anyone to get back there. We've got to be really ruthless in the summer to get rid of the players that need to get out and bring new ones in as well at the same time. So these new players here will help us a lot because it's a fresh team, a bit of freshness to the squad, with new faces and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing certain players play. I look forward to seeing how we end the season. I think for me, just get top 4, get it sorted, and go from there. That's all I want to see now. Just make sure that next year, at least for the Champions League wise, just go for it and see what happens. Honestly, you never know. You never know what happened. Beat Madrid. Experience to go win the Champions League. It could do.
Yeah. We need to win. I would like to be able to play in a final, whether that's the Champions League final, whether that's the FA Cup final. Like, we need to at least see some semblance of success this year, even with all the failure that we have had.
100%. Yeah, and that's where for me I want to see this team kick on now. It's time to kick on. Time to face facts, to face music. The league's done this year for us, but there's still 2 cups to go. They're still there for us. Go out there and get your best shot.
Yeah. And then before we get you out of here, I actually had somebody send me something from Snobby Pod. They did a post that was interesting. And so I want to, what is happening with my computer? There you go. Hold on. Here we go. Looks like an Instagram post. I don't know if you saw this, but he had a go at We Are 1894 and Big Steve.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
I guess I don't know what their chat was about and if they were like going at somebody, but the language is a little crazy and aggressive.
To be fair, I know Colby said about this yesterday. Since it says something going to go out, he wasn't really happy with something, but he didn't really go into it at the time. So honestly, look, it's what's gone on. Hopefully, it can get resolved in the right way. Hopefully, I hate seeing stuff like this anyway. Like, I don't care who's said whatever. At the end of the day, right? It's in our community. We don't need more drama. Like, I'm not going to go. When I say this, Colby, if you're watching, mate, I'm not going to go. You know what I mean? I hope something like this can get resolved the right way behind the scenes. Just work it out together and go from there. Because you know what I mean. Like, we need to try and sort of focus on being together as a fan base rather than divided sometimes. And look, I know the ins and outs of that, so I'm not going to pretend to know anything about it really at all. I saw it myself before I got on today and thought, okay, well, hopefully it can get resolved behind the scenes. But
yeah,
until then, just hope it doesn't get too far. Hopefully,
fair. Yeah, well, because again, just as US based people, I mean, I've always just given Big Steve his space. Like, bro, I see people are constantly always trying to hit him up and have people on. So they're just some people that we haven't worked with. And honestly, if I bump into him when I'm in Manchester, that'd be cool. But that's not really anything that I would look too harsh about.
For me personally, my own podcast, I wouldn't mind it, but it's kind of like I'm always been about myself, right? Building up my channel my way. I'm not saying I don't want it, but it's kind of like if it ever happens to the point where I get a chance to have a chat with him on it, happily I will. But I don't really feel like I need to have him on there just for people to watch my channel. Like, if you get him on there, fair play to you, whoever you are. I mean, that's great to get him on there. Good chat, get everyone involved. Nice, good stream for you guys to have a chat with him and sort of and talk about football and that. But myself, I've always been I don't need to have people on there. Like if people want to invite me, like yourself about me on the channel, I'll come on happily and have a chat with you guys and and chill talk about football and that. But I've never been someone that feels like I need to talk to someone for a particular reason. Like he's a good guy in his community. He's done so much, obviously, in terms of what he's done for City and that, obviously, and sort of getting the fan base, obviously, more on YouTube and that and out there, and big up to him. Obviously, this situation right now, obviously, with the shirt thing, hopefully that's sorted out, hopefully, behind the scenes, what's going on there. But I just want to sort of just have a fan base where we're all support each other rather than divided, because it's too much division nowadays.
I'm with you 100%. Well, I won't hold you any longer. Everything has been officially shut down. I did see that there were a couple of transfers made overall, not for City, but the end of
Forest. And Dala's out Forest now, apparently.
Who is this?
Joel Dala.
Oh,
He's out Forest now.
oh, that's
Watch him. He'll do well, Forest. He'll do well.
yeah. No, Forest has been a fun and
They're a good
frustrating.
team, man.
Yeah,
They're a good
it
team,
looks like
Forest.
it. All right. Well, before we get you out of here, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Of course, man. Yeah, we are the Not My Lifetime podcast. Started out in March last year. Almost been going a year now doing this podcast. So
Let's go.
yeah, it's going really well. Enjoying it. You know, I do. The two friends of mine who go to games a week in, week out. I try and go when I can, but money and all that. It's almost try our best to obviously get there when we can, or how far we have to go to get there. But to have them two who go to most home games and obviously the occasional away games, both of them, I get a good point of view from a family who go to games. I have fans on obviously who will come on from America, from obviously abroad in Asia. I don't care where you're from. If you want to come on the channel, have a chat with me about City, feel free. That's the channel. It's community space for us to have our say without any issues, any worries. Yeah, come and enjoy us. We're on the road to 1K now.
Yes. Cheers. And you know where to find us. Shades of Blue and W on all major platforms. Well, if we're on the platform, that's how you will find us. Shades of Blue and W. Yep.
Yeah, and I hope you guys get obviously up there. 'Cause I think you guys do some great stuff. I mean, it's definitely different to what everyone else does. I think that's what I love about you guys. You don't do the same stuff everyone else does. You sort of do your own stuff. It's just City, other stuff going on. Podcast, it's brilliant. I hope I hope you get up to 1K event soon. I hope you get up to get more eyes on the channel because what you guys do is great. And I'm pleased to come on today.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, Shady Gang. We'll have a new episode out. Have a match preview for City versus Leyton Orient. I will be having Orient Outlook Podcast on to chat with them. I will be having Vince from Scuffed Podcast on to talk about him. And then for City women's match against Leicester City this coming weekend, I'm having Lynn With of the Foxes Trust. They do a lot of great charity work for Leicester City. I'll have her on for us to talk about that match on the weekend as well. So yeah, and then our lit stream every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central here in the US. Like always, plenty to go and watch and participate in. Can't hope to see you soon. You know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady Gang, Shady Gang.